Welcome to episode 17 of the Tuesday Talk IU Athletics podcast. Joined by Director of Athletic Communications Larry Dielman and Student Assistant Connor Kikowski, this is Sports Information Director Andy Alvarez, bringing you results and news from this past week's action and previewing the upcoming week in Immaculata Athletics. Immaculata Athletics got back into full swing this past week. Men's and women's basketball each played a pair of conference games. Men's and women's swimming competed in an AEC dual meet at St. Mary's College, Maryland. And the men's volleyball team opened up their season against Randolph-Macon on Friday evening in a non-conference match. This week will be a busy week in IU athletics with the women's basketball team home for two games. Men's basketball is on the road on Wednesday and home on Saturday. Men's volleyball will be on the road on Wednesday. And men's and women's swimming will compete at Widener on Wednesday before returning home for senior day on Saturday. Later on in the show, we'll be joined by our guests this week, Christian Lee and Michael Prall of the men's volleyball team. So let's look back at what has been going on the past week and since our last episode, starting with men's basketball.
Let's kick things off with men's basketball. It was a good week for the Mighty Macs. On Wednesday, the men snapped their 12-game losing streak with a big-time win over St. Elizabeth. That was a home game. 89-71 was the final score. A good game overall. Christian Chambers and Mandon Sipo each had a team-high 19 points. Deuce Jackson had a big 14-point, 11 rebound double-double, and Mandon, Sipo, and Jaden Williams each had 3 steals. For their efforts, Dylan Cruz and Mandon Sipo earned AEC Weekly Honor Roll. It was a good game for them. Unfortunately, they fell to Centenary on Saturday, 80-76. It was a close one at the end, but the Cyclones were able to pull away in the final moments. And this week is going to be a good matchup on Wednesday as they will be heading to Marymount for a 6 o'clock game, and then they're hosting Pratt on Saturday. So, guys, some good games coming up, and it was great to finally see that first home win in the Kyle Stramera era, and hopefully they can carry some momentum this week and beyond.
It was definitely a good to see that. It was fun being on the call for that game with the play-by-play on Wednesday evening. To see the team really just kind of take over that game in the second half of that game was kind of great to see. And, Deuce Jackson being locally from Coatesville, it's good to see him have a big game here in the home gym. Neil Gagan from the Daily Local was here covering the game that night. So that would be nice seeing, our guys get some recognition in the local newspaper as well. And seeing just having the team, get to experience that win here in this building was a lot of fun. Saturday, I mean, they went down to the very end. I mean, they fell behind in the second half, but they fought their way to the end of the game, gave themselves some opportunities late. Unfortunately, they just couldn't stop Centenary from closing it out. But, still, a lot to work from, and hopefully, it's going to be a tough matchup on Wednesday, obviously going up head to head at Marymount, who's currently undefeated in the conference and on their home floor. So it's a tough trip, but it'll give them a good chance to get kind of a gauge as to where they might be as you're finishing up the first rotation in the next week or so, through the schedule of the conference and try to, refocus for when you get your second 7 game segment of the conference play later. It's good to get a good test like this and see how you can handle it. And, when you get them back in your home gym in a few weeks, maybe, you could build from this game into that game too. So
I think particularly in the St. Elizabeth game, the biggest thing that helped our men's team succeed was momentum. I mean, from the very start of that game, they were out to a 7-0 start, and that was just in a minute. So it was something you haven't seen yet this season from our men's team. So it was good to see and everyone working together, and they built off that momentum. Even though St. Elizabeth was able to close the gap a little bit there, but talking to Deuce Jackson after that game, after his double-double, he said a lot of it was trusting each other and working together. And the rebound game was big in that win. So that was good to see. In the secondary game, it was still a competitive game, but it seemed like there was just a lot of I don't know what the right word is, but just couldn't get the ball in the net at some points. I mean, maybe it was just one of those days where nothing was just going in, which it happens sometimes. But a big game on Wednesday night in Marymount, so we'll look forward to that. And obviously, Pratt coming in here this weekend.
moving on to women's basketball. The women's basketball team grabbed 2 more conference wins this week against St. Elizabeth and Centenary, both on the road. Carly Coleman earned Atlantic East Conference Player of the Week honors for a second straight week against St. Elizabeth. Coleman had a monster double-double, her 8th double-double of the season, along with the triple-double that she had. She has 17 points and tied her own season high and career high with 17 rebounds. She also added 2 blocks, and Lydia Etor and Serena Lilly each had 3 assists. Game was mainly decided in the second quarter, where Immaculata outscored St. Elizabeth 26 to 10. So that was a good solid win for them on the road. And then they go out on the road again on Saturday, driving up through the snow and everything to Centenary. Kind of a tough trip that took a while to get there, but they got there, and they dominated. At some points in Saturday Coleman dominated again on Saturday with 34 points, a new career high for her, and actually the second most points in a single game by a player from Immaculata in our modern era that we could look into. She was 12 for 19 shooting, 10 for 13 from the foul line, 3 steals, playing pretty much the entire game. Sabrina Little was crucial off the bench with a career high 6 steals. She also played 33 minutes, and Immaculata was actually trailing entering the fourth quarter and found themselves down 8 points midway through that quarter. And Carly Coleman kind of really took over in that fourth quarter, scoring 15 points in the fourth quarter with several, driving layups and one opportunities to, kind of. She got that driving layup off a pass from Sabrina Little, got fouled, and made the and one to give Immaculata the lead with just over 2 minutes left that they never surrendered. And then, late in that game, though, the stats didn't credit her with the stat. Abby Grillo had a steal on the last play of the game that prevented any extra shot or attempt to tie the game for Centenary. So Abby Grillo also had a strong game up there in double figures and points as well. So that was good to see for Immaculata. Obviously, now we got the battle. You got the 2 undefeated teams in the conference playing here on Wednesday. You got 4-0 Immaculata versus 4-0 Marymount. Also, the 2 schools that have combined to win the last 4 Atlantic East Conference championships, Immaculata in 2022 and 2025, Marymount in 2023 and 2024. So, I mean, all the signs are there for what's going to be a heck of a battle. Obviously, Carly Coleman, was Rookie of the Year in the conference last year. Marymount now has Chandler Edelton, former 2-time AEC Player of the Year, back playing after from injury. So yeah, it's all pointing to signs. They got some other good players in Katie Cowley and those guys. They're women that are going to be really tough for our team to play on Wednesday. So this should be a real battle.
Yeah, I mean, a great week overall for the women. 4-0 in conference. Can't literally do any better than that. They've had some good wins too, looking at their conference schedule overall. I mean, we talked about previously they beat Newman by 20 and they put a decent hurting on Gwynn and Mercy by 29 points. And even these ones against St. Elizabeth and Centenary, closer games, especially the Centenary game, but they pulled out in the end. So it really shows they can fight whether it's a blowout or a close one. And this Marymount game, obviously crucial in the conference standings. 2 undefeated teams in the Atlantic East Conference. So it should be a good one overall. Definitely going to have Alumni Hall rocking. Need all the fans out there. Show your support. And even Pratt on Saturday should be a good one too. So starting to heat up here in the conference, and hopefully we can get some more wins this week.
Yeah, huge game here on Wednesday night. Arguably the biggest game of the season so far for our women's team. Both teams are 4-0, so obviously can't all stay that way. So we're gonna find out tomorrow how this is gonna go. But definitely they have a lot of momentum pick. Big win on Saturday on Centenary, 74-71. So that was big to see. And Centenary's not an easy place to play. It's a far trip, it's a long day. So it's not easy to play. And so even to come out of there, a big nice win like that is crucial going into Wednesday night.
And I think that's very important points that are made there. I mean, this is a home game, and our teams are going to need their support in these home games. We need to make Alumni Hall a difficult place to play for anybody that comes in here on a weekly basis. So I hope not all the students are back on campus. I hope we get a good crowd in there tomorrow night. Come out and really back our women's basketball team and support our Macs.
Spread the word, tell a friend's friend.
All right, we are going to switch gears now to talk about men's volleyball, who had their season opener this past week. They opened their season on Friday against Randolph-Macon, but were swept nothing by the Yellow Jackets. Randolph-Macon was receiving votes in the top 25, so they were a really competitive team. Josh McGurl led the team with 6 kills. Luke Dorton-Tenzo, who is in his collegiate debut, put up 14 assists, so that's good to see. Doran Tenzo and JP Farley each had 8 digs in their first match at Immaculata. The Mighty Max nearly forced a fourth set in the third set, but Randolph-Macon scored the final 2 points. So that was good to see, especially against a team that was very competitive, came all this way, and they obviously were looking to have a good game. And obviously, our guys fought, and it was good to see, especially in the first game of the season. This week, they have one game up at Valley Forge on Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Obviously, Josh Elliott in his second season with the Mighty Max has shown that he has a good trust in these guys. They obviously have a good handle on each other and are able to work together to use the ball and attack the court. So what did you guys think about Friday night? Obviously, a tough match, but not bad overall.
It was definitely an interesting evening to say the least. For those of you that probably didn't know, we actually had to wait for Randolph-Macon to get to Alumni Hall. They played at Eastern at 5 o'clock for the first part of their tri match, and then they came over here at about 7 o'clock. They swept Eastern in about an hour, drove over here for about 30, 40 minutes, and then we didn't start our match until about 7:30. So it was a long kind of wait to get the match started, but everything went according to plan. Obviously, didn't get the win, but it was still a good showing anyway. Randolph-Macon is a tough team to play. They are receiving votes in the AVCA top 20 poll as of this recording, and they'll probably keep that with their 2 wins. But yeah, some great numbers from the freshmen. Luke Dortenzo, JP Farrelly had impressive starts, and it'll be interesting to see how they do because some of the gaps in their schedule, they play on the 21st, and then they don't play until February 19th. That's anywhere, not just, oh, they don't play at home or whatever. No. Their next match after Wednesday is February 19th, so we'll see how they do with that little break in their schedule. And what's also weird about this schedule is that we play Valley Forge on the 21st, but we also play them later in the season on March 24th. However, this first match is non-conference. The second one is conference because we're playing them twice. I don't know if that's just like a NCAA thing, but one of them is non-conference, one of them is conference. So it'll be good to kind of see them early as we'll see them later in the season. But good start against Randolph-Macon. Tough team, but a good test, Andy, to start early.
Yeah, that was a good first match for them. Obviously there was some changes with you had a player that was your setter for basically the last 5 years, be a little longer with the pandemic in there too. Driving force of that team, and Joe Martell finished up after last season and just under 2,000 career assists. So Luke Dortenzo in his first match, in collegiate match at all, his debut, playing as the setter. With 14 assists in his first outing. That's great to see. JP Farrelly, it was a transfer in this year, but his school he played club last year. He didn't play the NCAA vars, this year. But this year he steps into the NCAA men's volleyball and did very well with 8 digs, in the libero role. So that's, those are two your specialist positions are important in volleyball, particularly in the men's game. So it's good to see them get good starts. Josh McGurl gets kills. Obviously, you have Michael Prall, Christian Lee will be big parts of the team this year as well. And looking forward to seeing when they get around to the next match after Wednesday will be against Arcadia. They'll play Ramapo, and then they open up United East Conference play on March 3rd when they host Gallaudet here at Alumni Hall. So that's when they'll play their first United East Conference match, and that should be an exciting thing for the team to get that opportunity to play conference matches, have a shot at a postseason for a change, and everything like that. So I mean, I think they're looking forward to that. I think as you'll hear later from Michael and Christian, what they're looking forward to in this season, and also I think it's going to be a good season for our men's volleyball team. We look forward to following them. Moving on to swimming. The men's and women's swimming teams traveled to St. Mary's College of Maryland for a conference tune-up and a conference dual meet before the conference championships will also be hosted there at St. Mary's College of Maryland in February. The women fell 166.5 to 72.5, and the men fell 219 to 20. Ashley Baitchan and Mikey Matei each earned AEC Weekly Honor Roll selections this week. Baichan set a new IU program record in the 50 freestyle, coming in second with a time of 26.88 seconds. Baichan also finished first in the 200-yard backstroke with a time of 2 minutes, 21 seconds, .52. Kira Wiley was second in the 1,000 freestyle and second in the 100-yard butterfly. Emily Reibel finished third in the 200 freestyle. Hannah Barber was second in the 100-yard freestyle, third in the 500-yard freestyle. and Delaney McPeak earned second place finishes in the 200 breaststroke, sorry, and the 200-yard individual medley. And then the relay team of Bait Chan, Delaney McPeak, Kira Wiley, Hannah Barber came in second in the 200 medley relay. The men's side, Michael DiMattei led the Immaculata men's team, third in the 100-yard backstroke. He was second in the 200-yard backstroke and was third in the 100-yard butterfly. So that was some good results. Now, it's going to be quite a large meet down there at Widener. I think there's going to be like a quad meet for the women with Widener, Lebanon Valley, and I believe Bryn Mawr is involved on the women's side. And it's going to be a tri-meet between Widener, Lebanon Valley, and Immaculata on the men's side. So that should be a big event down there at Widener. So we wish our team good luck. And then they'll be back here at Alumni Hall on Saturday where they're taking on, it's Arcadia, isn't it, on Saturday? And that will be senior day. There'll be two seniors, just both on the women's side this year. Liz Ferguson and Bella Hernandez will be the seniors. They'll be honored before the meet on Saturday. So what are your guys' thoughts on what our swimming team was able to do this week?
Yeah, I mean, there were some good results. Obviously, didn't get the win, but still some great results anyway. It's great to see Ashley Baychan set a new program record in the 50 free and a lot of great finishes overall. As you mentioned, Kira Wiley, Emily Ribel, Hannah Barber, Delaney McPeak, a lot of first, second, and third place finishes. So great production overall. Ashley and Mike getting weekly honor roll, another great thing. Even the relay team came in second. So some great numbers overall, especially against a tough team like St. Mary's College of Maryland. You know, even on the men's side too, Mike DiMattei had some great results, a couple third place finishes. And like you said, with the giant meet on Wednesday with yeah, so it's a tri meet for the men, it's a quad meet for the women, only because obviously Bryn Mawr is a women's college, so they don't field men's teams. Hence why there's four teams for the women and three for men. Down at my former employer at the Schwartz Center, that'll be a big one for them. So some great results overall. And we'll see what they can do on senior day against Arcadia in a dual meet. One more here at the Alumni Hall pool.
I think you guys hit all the main points. You guys look great. Keep going. Good luck. And hopefully you guys have some good results Wednesday night.
I think also one thing that has to be remembered in this was their first meet since early November. Last time they actually competed in the meet. It was a tough first meet to go in face a solid squad, and that's where the conference championships will be down there again in a few weeks in mid-February. So I think it was good to get a start that way. And as Coach Pace told us in his interview last week, it was good to see where they are and got a good indication from that. So I think now would be a good time to bring in our guests. We'll be back with Christian Lee and Michael Prall from the men's volleyball team after this quick break on the Tuesday Talk IU Athletics podcast. Welcome back to the Tuesday Talk IU Athletics podcast. We are joined by Christian Lee and Michael Prall from the men's volleyball team. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hello.
How did you both first get into playing volleyball?
I first started my senior year of high school, and that was my first year. They created the program my senior year, so we only had 1 year. So I just played it because it was fun, and I stuck with it. I loved it and decided to play in college too.
Came into Immaculata playing soccer. I thought it'd be a great way to cross train and, do something during the winter. So I decided that it would be a good idea just to play both sports.
So you're both student athletes here, soccer and volleyball. So how do you balance the demands of 2 seasons with your classwork on top of it?
Yeah, obviously it's a lot going on with soccer and volleyball, like in season, out of season, spring season, and having to balance that with like classwork. My main thing is I put my classwork first. I tend to do my homework before practice. Like if I have a late practice, I'll make sure to prioritize my homework first so I don't get caught up and procrastinate.
How has joining the United East Conference changed things for the program after spending the last couple of seasons as an independent?
Yeah, it's definitely a huge change. You have something to play for now, more like a competition. And now there's like you can win a championship. There's a lot more competition. And it's just something to look forward to.
You opened the season this past Friday playing a strong Randolph-Macon team that's been receiving votes in the AVCA preseason poll. What was it like to start your year with that level of competition?
Yeah, it's definitely tough to start a season like that. You have a powerhouse that you start against. I think the boys did a good job adjusting. against a team like that, there's not much you can do. I think you try to take away what you can. And obviously, Randolph-Macon's a great team. They have a lot of strong players on there, and it's good to start ourselves like that because that kind of set the tone for us this year. Like that's going to be the level that we're at and that we're expected to play at, and we can adjust to that accordingly.
I mean, I think that is very important because you guys had some good results in the first and in the third sets. You guys were hanging in there with them despite some of the power that they were able to bring and generate.
Yeah, they have a lot of great players. Like I said, like having a team like that to start against, it really wakes up the team, gets you in the mood for the season, and you understand that this is the competition that we're expected to play against, and hopefully we will be playing against towards the end of the year in playoffs.
So picking up off on that last question, you guys have a game on Wednesday night against Valley Forge. So what will the team need to do in order to be successful in that competitive game this week?
Yeah, we played Valley Forge before. Honestly, I don't think it's anything specifically that we need to be preparing for. I think, going back to the basics, making sure that everything is sound in our basics and our fundamentals, that's going to be the key to success. I think against a team like Valley Forge or really any team in our conference, it's really us against us, not the other, team against us. So to be successful against Valley Forge, I think it's more about how we carry ourselves mentally. Our mentality through the game has to be good, focus has to be good, and then everything else will follow.
What are your goals and the team's goals for this season? I mean, obviously, we've already talked about, you guys being in a new conference and some new players. So, what are your goals, like individual goals and maybe some of the team goals you guys want to achieve?
I think in terms of team goals, I think all of us want to have a pretty successful year. I know that's all relative, but to us, that feels like fulfilling the possibilities that, we know exist now that we're in a conference. That doesn't necessarily mean winning a conference or anything like that, but it means that we have a step in the right direction. We really build this year. And I think that we can make ourselves proud by developing in the right way and not rushing anything.
What has your favorite match been that you've ever played in here while playing on the volleyball team at Immaculata?
There's definitely been a lot of fun matches and close games, but the one I'd say that's been the most fun was against Newman, just because that's our rival and it's always like a huge environment when you go there. I could say the same for soccer too. My favorite games are against Newman just because like high stakes. It's just such a fun environment.
My favorite match that I've played in was last season against St. Elizabeth. The guys over there like to keep the competition high during the game, and they're going to be talking through the net. So I'm looking forward to that one this year. And it's always a great competition between them. A lot of back and forth.
Thank you for joining us today, and we wish you guys good luck in the match on Wednesday night at Valley Forge, and looking forward to seeing you guys play more this season. So thank you, and we'll be back after this quick break on the Tuesday Talk IU Athletics podcast. Welcome back to the Tuesday Talk IU Athletic Podcast. That'll about wrap things up for this week's show. For my counterparts, Connor Kikowski and Larry Dielman, this is Andy Alvarez. Hope you will join us again next week for episode 18. Until then, have a great week and rollbacks.